go.
Hello, welcome to Friday's edition of Alien8uk. We are gradually coming back to Fridays, so yeah, you're going to get us at least twice a week. Oh, yes. Only during the winter and autumn, so it's all good. So, just want to welcome our guest, Daniel Lee Barnett. Thank you for coming on and reaching out because I know you've got so much to talk about. We are only doing about 60 minutes. Nicole is travelling across counties, going to Jersey to go out on an investigation with Lisa.
Hello.
And so this is what it's all a bit all over the place. But anyway, so welcome, Daniel. You are coming on basically to talk about your documentary, My Bigfoot Life. And I was one of the lucky people that got to see some footage of it before anybody else. There was about 20, 30 people in the room that got to see it. And it's just, I'm going to say, it's like when you watch these documentaries on Amazon and Netflix and all that, and you see these people running about and everything's going on, you get that, but then you get the behind the scenes stuff, and then you get the explanation. A lot of them, you don't get an explanation as to what's going on, or why it's going on, or why people are there, or why people have gone. But with this, you get the full work. I had goosebumps. It was only 3 months ago that I got to meet you, and you did the conference down in Bridgewater. And I'll let you take over from there because you know so much more than I do.
So since then, we really didn't know what was gonna happen. Since then, we obviously we were allowed to screen My Bigfoot Life at the conference. We then went over to the US and we screened it in central Pennsylvania, and both were received amazingly well. And then I got a call, I think it was 2 weeks ago now, random Monday, I got a call to go, right, we're going for cinema run. I look at Dad and Dad looks at me and we go, okay, gear up, let's go. Ryan had just left the UK. We'd done an event here in the UK, and we were literally then, the final day that he was here, we were ringing newspapers, all sorts of stuff. But that was a day that this team has been waiting for a year and a half. And no one will ever know how that feels to finally go, it's coming. It's coming out. I can finally say it's actually coming, rather than go, I don't know. And what a lot of people did believe me when I said I actually didn't know. I actually didn't know, and people kept saying, "Well, I bet you've been holding on for this for ages." I'm like, literally, I got a phone call to go, "We're going," and it was out the next day. So I was probably holding on to it for 15 hours or something. So,
wow.
But we are now in 19 cinemas up and down the UK in picture houses, which is incredible.
Yes.
That's
and I think
awesome.
the name
Any
response
plans to bring it to the US to theaters?
So I know that that there is plans. I actually had a meeting on Wednesday with a fellow Bigfoot researcher, used to be on some amazing Bigfoot programs such as Expedition Bigfoot, and he had massive involvement in the doc. And we are currently sorting with him different things that we are going to be doing in the US. But so the actual cinema screenings will be this Monday, so Monday the 15th of September. Once that is complete, we then turn our eyes to look at the US to find out what we can do and look at platforms that we could put the documentary on. And there's some amazing lined up that they'll be coming out on. Obviously, they're not 100% confirmed yet, but we now have a very good idea on what we might be doing.
Ooh. So who was it that told you? Who was the person? Can you say who the person was? It's like, this is going out in the cinemas and it's going out tomorrow.
It's not as exciting as people think. It was the marketing manager from M&M Productions. that gave me
Oh, right.
cool. It's not. But they've been working hard to get that, and not a lot of films get into cinemas. It's not. Apart from your major films, not a lot of independent documentaries, especially a documentary, to go into cinemas is incredible. So it's a massive relief for the team that is finally coming out, and say, as you said earlier, Andy, that you actually got the pleasure to see the doc, and it is a magical story.
Yeah, it is, and it's like it because it goes from everything from you being even smaller than you are now, right the way through with your autism and your family, and even I was talking to your dad at the conference. Craig is such an amazing bloke, and he's chatting away, and it's like your dad. I'd known him for years, but it's like it was proper deep conversations. It wasn't just it was this and it was that. It was like full blown conversation with everybody there. And it was just such a great atmosphere. And I think that made a massive difference to what I was expecting that it was going to be like. Because I've been to different conferences up and down the country, and you kind of get a feel of what to expect when you go to them. But this was just completely different. And that is all I'm going to say. And I've told you. Anyway,
so there's one comment that I have to touch on. It says, "Does Nan appear in the film?" Absolutely, she does. She appears in the film. She's one of the main stars. Oh, obviously not over me, but she's one of the main stars. So, say what was magical for myself and the team, and a lot of people don't know this, but anyone that attended the conference on that Friday night. I've seen the doc just I think 200, 300 times. It's just unbelievable. But that was the first time that the cast is seeing it as well. So the cast is seeing it for the first time, but it almost felt like that we've seen it for the first time as well, because we've seen it with everyone else, and it's and the amount of pressure that was on myself, Nan, and that, because this is the first time that anyone is ever going to see this doc, and when everyone stood up and clapped, that was magical for us. Now I gotta say, you had RPG on the other week, and I must say, you saw me get Ryan up there and then walk away. I think that was probably one of the most funniest moments of that conference, that I walked away and you just watched Ryan there, just absolutely just couldn't talk. It was hilarious. It was hilarious.
Yeah, it was good. But I just want to say, you were saying about a lot of them don't go to cinema, because you notice anyone watches streaming channels, Netflix, Paramount, Amazon and all, they tend to go on there first before anywhere else now. So for you to get this in the cinema, you either bribe somebody or you blackmail someone, or some docu's gone on to get it. But I've just got I've just got the flyer up with all the dates and cinemas. So I'm going to put this up quickly. Andy. Here we go. I did. So there you go. Is where it's going to be. So what day? So I must say. So this is as of Monday.
Yeah. So all the so it's only shown once in one cinema on Monday, because it is a relaxed screening, which I'll explain what that means in a minute. And it's a tester to see how people like it. So what cinemas can then do? I didn't realize that it's cinemas' own choice to then carry on with the film or not. So once it's into cinemas, it's then their choice. And a relaxed screening basically means so you know, when you walk into a cinema and you got trailers going, you got adverts, things like that. So a relaxed screening is for people with autism, people with anxiety, things like that don't like those loud noises and that. So there's no trailers, there's no things before the film, and also it's not blasting in your ears. So it's kind of lights are up a little bit, and it's not so it's built for the people that the documentary is built for, which is something that we didn't expect for.
Yeah, so it's like you watching it
That's
at
awesome.
home. That you've got you have your own comfort. Yeah, get that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now I must say a lot of people say that they've been waiting for this doc for ages, and I must say there's one thing that this team was worried about is that we've been saying about this for so long. A lot of people lost interest in it, but I gotta say the response that we've now had now this has come out is remarkable, which is amazing. So that and that's for every single person that kind of supports us in the team. So yeah, that's amazing.
Cool. Yeah, because I remember watching it, and I remember you saying, "I'll mention the person's name. I'm not going to give anything away." But what happened with Tony Bannum while he was during the filming when you was in that area, and he was like, as when that particular thing went on. I don't want to say anything. That's down to you.
Okay, so
if you want to give it away,
let me. So Andy, I can actually say anything now. Okay, so because this documentary is coming out, we've actually done a podcast to say everything. So I can start with the UK, or I could go to the US and tell you what happened in the US. That's your decision. You choose.
Do a bit of both. Start in the US.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So that so basically there is some magical and emotional moments in this doc where in the middle of the doc it shows some challenges with autism, but shows some the positive side of autism as well. So once we get to Seattle, Washington, we're all excited and we're ready to go. We've got some of the best Bigfooters in the world in one location. We've got James Bobo Fay, we've got Brian Kingshot, we've got the family there. Now, we don't expect anything to happen, and we've been saying this for over a year now, and we've waited to say it. That that night we became from a team to a group family. That's what we became. And so basically it's a night, it's been raining all day, it's soaking wet, we've been doing interviews, we've been doing extra stuff in case we couldn't get out in night. Obviously in Seattle it's quite different when you're up in the Olympic National Forest, you're in the hills, storms could come quite quickly. So once it clears up, we gear up, everyone's ready and everyone's pumped because we've done nothing all day. We've sat in the Olympic project in Seattle, and we're just like, right, let's go. So we're into this forest now. A lot of people say you're waiting for a Bigfoot sighting, right? And you need to be. Thanks so much. You need to wait for. You need to be quiet. You need to kind of be stealth in that forest. Yeah, we were complete opposite. We have lights everywhere. We're shouting all over the forest, and I love that you see it now, Andy, because you can relate to this. That honestly, we were just, weren't we? We're normal people in the forest. We were just wandering in the forest like no one.
Who went running off? Did someone go running off in the forest? Am I getting that wrong?
So that was a complete different. That was Legend Seekers. That was when Ryan decided, and that was when you did it with RPG. Ryan decided to get lost in Dartmoor, and I got very, very annoyed at it. And that was it. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm getting the two mixed up.
We can go on to that later if you want. So we are all in a line, right? And one person says, right, our code word is pineapple. It might have been Brian, might be me, or it might have been Bobo that just said, right, the code word is pineapple. So we're all in line and we're talking. And you never expect for that word to be used, right? And when someone says that word, I can't describe what went through my body. I had chills everywhere, and everyone stopped. Ryan had gone at this point, so Ryan had gone ahead to scout as a producer to go, right, if nothing's going to happen, we were going to do a harmonized call. So he was looking for places like that. I walk back to Bobo. He's probably about 100 meters away from me. So I get back to him and I say, what's going on? And he goes, I've got something in front of me on thermal. And I go, okay. Now, there was an awful lot of swear words that was cut out and had to be cut out. So there was an awful lot. And Bobo says the phrase, dude, that's a squatch, or something along those lines. And we look at each other and go, what do we do now? Now, the first thing that pops in my mind is, where's Ryan? Where is he? Because and Dad looks at me and goes, right, we need Ryan back here. And if Ryan's nowhere around, we think that's Ryan in front of us. So then I see Ryan and I still see this figure and I go, oh, that's not Ryan. That's not Ryan. So I grab Ryan's hand and I grab his arm and I'm pulling it in back. Now, Bobo goes, someone has to go in. Now, Brian Kingshot, who's a legend, said, I'll go. So he decides to walk in that forest. And then Chris Alsford, very, very good friend of mine, follows in after him. Now, they split up and they're stood there. And then my granddad goes in and he stood next to Chris. Now, what happens is, and a lot of this was cut out the doc because we have to cut it down to a certain point. But Dad had the sound on. So Dad was doing all the sound. Chris remembered that he had the microphone on. Now, obviously, he don't want to scare anything that's in front of him. This heat signature is still here. Bobo's got his eyes locked on it. And Chris quietly says through his mic, I've got eyeshine in front of me. I've got eyeshine in front of me. I can see it very, very quietly. So Dad is listening to this now and can hear what is going on out there. He taps my shoulder and me and Ryan are straight out there. Dad's behind me. I take Bobo's thermal and we're all out. The rest of the production crew are behind. Now, as I said, it had been raining all day. This was very dense forest. One of our cameras had stopped working for some weird reason. And these are kind of Hollywood cameras.
Yeah.
They couldn't follow us in. And they were so annoyed. Now, for some weird reason, the camera had stopped working before. Chris's thermal stopped working. And it's all through tech. So I don't know. But that actually happened. Now, it was a bit of a bank. And then it's vertical uphill. Okay, so we know now that whatever this thing is, it knows that it can get to safety quite quickly. So we all start going in, and Ryan turns into cameraman very, very quickly. And Ryan said, someone needs to capture what goes on here. I'm sorry, and I said, Ryan, you're going to miss out on it. But Ryan was in the right position there to go, right, I have to capture this. If something is going to happen, this camera has to be here. Now, this camera was 15 years old, things like that. And at that point, Chris shouts for us. So we go up. Now, we're not even going up the hill at this point. Gramps and Bobo are right in the middle, and my grandmother and the other director and all the camera guys. So we're now all split up. I'm still in view of Bobo and that. And Chris explains to us that, right, we heard some noise, almost like antlers hitting a tree, like all the water falling from the leaves. And now I don't know if you noticed, Andy, but behind Chris's head, there's some eye shine that goes behind there.
Yes.
So yeah. So there's actually, now we didn't notice that until we were actually editing it. So that's pretty cool that you can capture some eye shine going. I think it's left then right. So we didn't actually look any more into that. Now We're walking along this trail together. Brian shaking like a leaf. Brian and Chris separated, and Brian said he saw something cross over the trail, and
Yeah.
he was literally shaking to the point of like, Brian, you need to sit down, mate. So we're now walking on this trail all together, and we all notice all these down trees, and Ryan's kicking them over. Me and the team will never forget the phrase that I say and the emotion that happened at that point. Now, what happened at this point happened like this, and
Yeah.
I don't believe in the paranormal, but I felt an energy, like something was there. Or now, as it says earlier in the doc, as you saw, Andy, that I'm afraid of the dark. So obviously at this
Yeah.
point, I'm looking round. I got them torch on me. Now, when a 15-year-old looks, and what is in front of me, two eyes looking down the hill at me, and what
Yeah.
word do you say? What word do you say? And I shouted the word "I shine" up there, and I think that was one of the best moments of our lives
Yeah.
at that point, when Chris and Brian realized, and we separated, and then Brian said, "Oh my god, it just crossed the effing trail."
Yeah.
At that point, as you saw, Ryan said, "I'm beating you up there," so I'm shouting, "Go on, Ryan! Go on, Ryan!" And
that
I
was it.
grabbed
Yeah.
Chris's arm. I've got Dad behind me, and I'm lit. My arms are tearing apart, and we're running up this hill. How one of us didn't break one of our legs going up that hill, I would never be able to tell you. Honestly, we were jumping over full-size trees. Chris was picking me up and going, and Chris is like, "We've flown all this way, gone through a lot of hassle, and if we're going to see something, we're going to get there." So we're literally running up this hill now. It is honestly, Chris says it's like an ET scene, torches everywhere, and we're running up this hill because we're going to get to the top. And when we get to the top, we did it.
Yeah.
Chris and Brian both saw it. Now, Chris's first words was MF. Now, you know what that means. And as Brian said, he's glad that Chris saw it. Chris said that Brian saw it. I saw two eyes there. And I go, and Chris says, "Well, I think there's a squatch in these woods."
Yeah.
And that's where Brian breaks down. And I gotta say, I've never seen a grown man cry like that. And I think that is where it becomes family relationship at that point. And some people might know that we now have a production company called Summit View Studios that is producing Legend Seekers. And people ask where that came from, and that is where that came from. We met at the top of that hill, and that it's like the world opened up at that point. We knew where we were. Now, we heard Gramps' story, because Gramps is in the middle of the woods with Bobo, and for all Gramps knows, he's lost his grandson and his son-in-law.
Yeah.
Absolutely gone. So they have no idea. God knows what my grandmother is thinking. God knows what the other director is thinking. So we are literally, I would say we're about a mile and a half apart at this point. So, and that's from us down to the very bottom, and Grams and Bobo in the middle. Now, what a lot of people don't know is we weren't out of breath. Pure adrenaline, as Chris says in that film. The next day, we try and get up there. It took us 2 hours to walk up that, and we thought we were going to die getting up there. The amount of work it took to get up, let alone back down, was just... So how we did that at night, pitch black. We're talking 1 o'clock in the morning that we're running up this hill. It's just unbelievable. So that is the end of that documentary, and
Yeah, but it's like you said, like getting up there, it was dark, it was wet, but you've gone there for a specific reason, and you've seen something that could have been what you've gone to see. And if you'd have not gone running up looking for it, it was just eye shine. It could have been anything. Could have been another person. It could have been whatever, not whatever animals are out there. But it's not until you do something like that and then you get to see it, like you said with Brian. Is that the first time Brian's seen one full on? I was trying to, because when I've interviewed
it is the first time Brian's seen one, first time Chris has seen one. Now, Chris, if I tell you a little bit about Chris, Chris is a very humble guy, and he's a wonderful person, and say you met him there, and he paid his own way to get there because he wanted to be on this journey with us, and he's been looking for that. He used to be a truck driver in the US, and he used to stop at his favorite stops. He would take the routes that would stop in different forests, and he's been looking for 40 years. And when he met me, it was at the first conference I did, and that was 2.5 years ago. And he did not know at that point that we would end up there. And I think that's magical.
Yeah, because when he's saying, like, when he was doing the truck driving, he'd take the crappy routes and the ones like off the beaten track, just so he could try and get an opportunity to have something happen. That's what I'd do.
So I will answer the question. Did you manage to get the chase on Doc where they're tracked? So Andy, I'll let you answer that question. Was it Was it captured on screen?
It was, because everyone just you can't see much. There's a lot of shouting and leaves and crunching of branches and all that, but you see it, and it's like, this is what I was saying before. A lot of the documentaries that you see, you might get a few seconds of that, and it cuts to the next bit, and it's like the attention span is it 6 seconds or something per scene. But this was like solid. What I'd say, at least a minute and a half. Was it that long? It might.
I'd say no. I'd say that bit wasn't cut. As far as I know, that bit from when obviously it was cut with the interviews, but when Brian started running to the very top, that bit was all one solid bit. That was all solid filming. So yeah, you might be right. And say, as Brian said up there, whilst in just a mess. I don't care what people say, whether I saw that or I didn't or whatever. Yeah. And Brian said the same, and Chris said the same. That I don't care. We know what we saw, we know what we felt, and we know the emotion that was there.
100%. And this is the other thing as well. It was the emotion of everyone in the film, because it wasn't like, I know, because some of them they do. Or you do the emotion right, you need to redo that emotion, you need to act it out. But this was all first time. What you see is what you get. That's what happened. That's how it should be. I know a lot of TV and that they do it for the entertainment purposes, shall we say?
Yeah.
But it was watching it. It's kind of like you was there. I think because a lot of people that were in the film were actually sat in the room with us while we're watching it.
I know.
That was like boof.
Yeah, and say
that was mind blowing.
We went to PA and I sat with Brian and watched it. Now, unfortunately, Brian fell ill during that, but when I was sat with him, that was awesome to sit there with him and Chris right there. Because we were the ones that were there, and Dad was there as well, and so was Ryan. So the entire team in PA got together again. Since that point, it's the first time we got together. It was a year since we got together, and it was the first time, and say that's what we meant, and say I'm glad you said that, because that means we've done our job. Our job is
Yeah.
to the first meeting I ever had with Monica, who owns M&M Productions.
Yes.
I said, I only want two things out of this. I want a director's credit, because I want to get the experience of that, and I like that, and nothing is to be faked ever. And if it is,
I remember you
they're
saying that.
they're off the team. Meaning that, and that's how it stayed. It stayed natural, and everything in that documentary is naturally done, and there isn't one bit that is over exaggerated. Let's say the interviews obviously were staged because they're interviews,
Yeah,
but
that's different.
that's but the raw footage is all raw footage. That's how it's done, and say
And
that
that makes a massive difference, because
yeah.
even though I've not seen Bigfoot, I've seen other weird stuff, but I'm not going into that because this is for you. But it's like watching it, it's like when I'm out and I'm investigating and I'm going to these random places and something happens, it's that fight or flight. But it's a great feeling, whether you're scared or not. Even if you get, it's that initial feeling of something's happening, and it was like that all the way through. And then with the interviews, and like you said, the interviews are because you write notes down, so you know what you're talking about, and it's not anything. But there was still emotion from Chris, from you, from your granddad, from your dad, from Brian, Tony, everyone else.
Even in the interview, in Brian's interview, you see that emotion there. When he says, when Daniel said "I shine," that is pure emotion. That was first cut. That was first kind of. And there's one interview in there that I dislike, because I always like to kind of show that kind of positive element, and you can imagine what interview I'm talking about, of straight after the middle bit, which I don't want to give that away, but I then explain how it's hard for me, but there's so many people that love that bit, which makes us happy. That's all we wanted to do. That's what we wanted to achieve with this doc. And when we got the message, I think it was last week, to say that the National Autistic Society, the biggest autism society in the UK, has now endorsed this documentary, which is incredible. Because that's what this message is for.
Yeah. But it's like, the thing is as well, like with the documentaries, they just show you the footage and do a little bit of talking, then it cuts, and then they're out somewhere else and they're doing this and doing that. With the way you guys did it, it was, you'd cut back and you'd be talking about you was there, and you'd do the pre-recorded interviews and put like slotting that in as well.
Yeah.
But it was just, it wasn't, you can tell it wasn't staged. It was the emotion of the investigation and the emotion of the interviews was as strong as the emotion during the investigation of everything that was going on. It could, if you're watching it, it could be these interviews were being, these people were being interviewed during this investigation. That's how it come across. It was solid right the way through, and you could tell.
And say, even back to the UK, it was still raw emotion. Just because we came to it came to the UK, and then it went to the US. Now, I said this the other day on a radio interview, that a lot of people think that with films or documentaries, it's planned. It's like, right, this is scene 1. This is scene 120. There you go. Well, actually, originally, I got the call to speak at the Great Florida Bigfoot Conference the same time that I met Monica. So that was already happening. We filmed the UK and we were going to end it with Great Florida. It wasn't until the last night that the US guys were here, we went to the pub. It was me, Monica, and Ryan down at the bar. And Ryan went, well, the next thing is the US then, innit? And he said that as a joke. And me and Monica look at each other, and this moment will never happen again because we're never going to do it again.
Yeah.
Because Monica looks at me and goes, "John, go." I went, "Yeah." I said, "Yeah."
Why not?
Let's go. And at that point, that was it. Then the meetings were going, the contracts were out, we were getting things. So hold on, within minutes, we've just changed the entire course of the documentary from UK to US, including Great Florida. Madness. So that's where none of it was planned apart from the UK and then Great Florida. Whether the US was an add-on. And I think that just brought the documentary round, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think.
But like I said, I think what made it more for me was everyone in the documentary, or 99% of everyone in the documentary, obviously Brian couldn't come over because he wasn't well, was in the room while we're watching it. So I'm watching it on the big screen. I'm like, them people there, like, sat around there. And it was just that was just so surreal. And because of what it was about, because obviously the main thing, it was about Bigfoot, Sasquatch, and going out doing the investigating. And it's something that literally everyone in the room is passionate about. Hence why I got the Bigfoot t-shirt on. It was awesome. It was so good. And then to get to speak to every single person on a normal, not just about paranormal or supernatural, but on a normal, like the way we were chatting, it's just a meeting everyone there. And just talk to them on a normal level. Do you know what I mean? It was that. It's like I was asked Ryan for his details to arrange for him to come on the show. He goes, "Here, give me your phone." He grabbed my phone off it. He put his phone number in. And I'm like, what the do you know what I mean? That's
where, and say, and a lot of people don't think about this, but when I did, amazing, that's amazing. Say it again, go into that. People think that my book is related to the doc. It's really not. All of it happened by accident. They just decided to name this My Bigfoot Life. So I go, that's cool. So I did my first meeting with Ronnie, Renee, Ryan. We had Dr. Jeff Meldrum on there, and I was very starstruck. But I'd watched I'd watched Expedition Bigfoot for a while now with Gramps, and Ryan was the first person I saw. But I've been talking to Ryan for a while now, and I only spoke to Ronnie once. So Ronnie was the person that I was starstruck by. But I had to learn very quickly that I'm working with these guys on a professional level. So very quickly, I had to become just like they're normal people. And now I speak to them like they're normal people. I spoke to Ronnie on Wednesday as a normal person. I'm like, it's weird. And I speak to Ryan 4 times a day as normal.
But it's that initial thing. So it's like you're saying about Expedition Bigfoot. And I've started watching it a couple of years ago. And remember, Ryan wasn't well, and yet he got taken to hospital right at the very beginning. I'm like, so I'm still watching it. And then Ryan eventually comes back. And then I'm sat in a room, I'll give him my phone. He puts his phone number in. And I don't chat to him as much as you do, but I'll send him bits and pieces here and there. And he always replies. He doesn't ignore you. It's just mad.
And that's where, and that's where with Ryan, that's why we decided to go further than the doc, and that's why we have started a production company together.
Yeah.
To now go on with Legend Seekers, things like that, and create things that is a follow on from My Bigfoot Life. And I also love that comment there about Jeff Meldrum. So that was really sad.
I know.
Yesterday.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Seeing that yesterday, I'm like, oh my, he has got to be. I don't care what
King of
anyone else
Bigfoot.
says. Yeah, he is got to be the ultimate Bigfoot researcher of all time. There are some other good ones, but no one is at that level. The amount of people
No
he's
one can
worked
replace
with.
him.
No. Everybody, when anyone got any samples, if it didn't go to Jeff, then there's no point sending it anywhere.
Yeah.
And I've listened to interviews with him, I've watched interviews with him, podcasts a lot, and he's such an amazing guy. Absolutely.
I was. And say what and say I got the pleasure of actually being Jeff Meldrum's friend, and we would talk every month or so, and say it was a pleasure to actually have him part of the doc, to actually share that that moment with him. I am going to go back to a comment because I almost touched on it.
Yeah, you're all right. I've marked some up, so I was going to do some questions in a bit.
Yeah,
because we've got about 20 minutes to go.
Yeah, so if I go on the one where it says why Bigfoot, now obviously I spend an awful lot of time with my grandparents, just by accident, and say we're actually doing a film at that point, and I was walking past Gramps' room, and I just saw he had someone on TV, so I sat down next to him, as you normally do. My sister walked in, my cousin walked in, and we all sat down, and we were just watching this episode, and then I see the name Ryan RPG Goldenbesky come up. No idea who that guy is, and I then asked Gramps, I go, Gramps, what's this program called? And he goes, this is Expedition Bigfoot. And like that, that's how it happened. From that point, we're out in the forest, and say I've said that story before, where it literally went from that point. So that split second has changed God knows how many years.
Yeah. These four main programs I watched. Well, Finding Bigfoot, obviously, with Bobo and Matt and Cliff. Such a top guy. I need to go to his museum if he's still got it. Has he still got it?
Yeah, he's still got it. Yeah.
Getting bigger.
Yeah, he's still got it.
Mountain Monsters. Don't care what anyone says about that. I love that program.
I'm good friends with Jeff.
Oh.
Yeah.
Jeff.
I'm good friends with
That's the guy with the white beard, isn't it? Yeah. The one who had that possession thing happen to him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm good friends with
him.
Put
a word in.
Yeah.
Stick a word in. Don't ask, you don't get. Mountain Monsters, Expedition Bigfoot, Finding Bigfoot, Fact or Fake back in the day, and the other one was Ghost Hunters Taps, and they were the only ones that I was interested in. I know that's more paranormal, but they were the only ones to me that seemed legit. Yeah, I know Mountain Monsters, they never really got anything. They was always setting traps up and they was running off and here, there and everywhere. But they was out and about, they was in the forest, there was like 2-3 days drive into wherever it is they was going, and it was just amazing. And same with Expedition Bigfoot. Is it Renee? Because she was a scientific one, and she was very skeptical about all of it.
That's with Finding Bigfoot. So Renee's in Finding Bigfoot. Mariah's in Expedition Bigfoot.
Yes, that was it. Yeah. But they were quite similar because they was very, look, this is a scientific route, and this is the one we got. You have to prove me wrong before I'm going to believe.
Yeah.
And that's what I liked about it. No one backed down. No one was like, oh, well, I'm going to go with that one because that's what you lot agree. I'm like, no, I'm not agreeing with you. If I don't believe it, I don't believe it. So
Yeah. So that's where, and say I'm also close to some of the guys from and I know Chris's favorite program about paranormal Bigfoot is Expedition X and Expedition Unknown
Seen it. I've not
with
watched X.
with Josh Gates.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you
I
go.
know he
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
But there's
that,
so many names and all that. It's hard to keep track of everyone.
yeah.
It really is.
Let's look. So you've started 5 questions, right?
Yes. Right, I'll bring them up.
Let's
I'll start at the beginning and go through them because you got
Yeah.
a good 10 minutes.
Yeah, but yeah,
So-
yeah.
Cool. South Coast Ghosts, Great British Ghost
right.
Hunters. Will it be available on streaming services at a later date? I'd love to watch it again.
Okay, so I know that after Monday, I forgot to say anyone that is around, and I know it's a Monday day, but anyone who isn't going to work that day, I will be in Bath. Myself and the team are actually going to be at Bath. Some of the production crew will actually be there. Myself, Chris, Dad, and Tony Barnum will actually be in Bath. So if you wanted to come and see us, we will be there. And say we also have some press guys there as well. So if you wanted to get your interview done about my Bigfoot life, we would love to have it. But we will be there at that point. Going back to streaming platforms, as soon as this finishes, so next week finishes, and all these cinema lists are done, we will be looking at Discovery Channel, and we'll be looking at things like that. None of it is confirmed yet. I have to wait from the production company and the distributor on what is actually going to happen. But that's where we're looking at. But it is coming very, very soon. I know we're looking at ITVX, things like that. So that is UK and that's US as well. But I know that as soon as this is done, we're going to hit the ground running on trying to get it on platforms. I think the production company's aim is to get it done by the end of October. Do not put my name to that because there's no guarantee.
See you later, I wrote it down.
Yeah. So there's no guarantee on that, but they're hoping by the end of October. It may be delayed because all things are, but they're hoping by the end of then we should be able to be on stream platforms, which is awesome.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Thank you. Next question, because you did answer one of them, like why Bigfoot. So the next one from Ramsey 12 is question: what is the best documented Bigfoot encounter? A. William Rowe encounter, 1955. B. Patterson Gimlin film, 67. C. Ape Canyon incident, 1924. D. Albert Ostman abduction, 1924. E. Other. You can add your own into that one if you want.
So I think there's 2 that I can speak upon. Patterson Gimlin film is one, and second is the Paul Freeman footage that I know that there's been a lot going on about. Again, Brian King Sharp has done an awful lot of research on that, meaning that obviously I'm quite close in contact with that, and say the PG film will always be number 1 for me until disproven or proven.
Well, cheers for that. Right, no more questions after these 3, please, because we're only doing 60 minutes because Daniel's got loads of stuff to do. Right, next one from Og. When you got the results of the Old Wood Monkey Great Ape, did that inspire you to find Bigfoot?
Oh, that's open a can of worms, that has. Right, so I think. So
you can miss this question if you want. You don't have to answer it.
No. I'll very, very shorten it. But when we found the DNA, the first person that I went to was Dr. Jeff Meldrum, and I had a lot of chat with
Yes.
him about the DNA. I was always on a search for Bigfoot. I wasn't there for Bigfoot. I hadn't Bigfoot not in my mind, and I still to this day. It's been almost 2 years, I think, since that DNA was done.
Wow.
And I still can't say it's Bigfoot because I didn't see that creature make it. But I will say it's massively odd. But it encouraged me to do a lot more, and say obviously national press got involved, meaning that it boosted me up a little bit to go right. I really want to do this. So yes, I would say yes. It inspired me to look more for Bigfoot. I could go massively into that, but I'm not going to.
No, that's fine. Totally get it. Right. Next question is from Grantier12 again. Daniel, what is your take on more aggressive Bigfoot cases like the Spottsville monster attack in Kentucky? Also, any takes on the Gugwe? Any research on this? Gugwe?
So I haven't heard of either of them, but I will go on the more aggressive Bigfoot cases because I am very good friends with Dale James Brewster, DJ Brewster from Alaskan Killer Bigfoot. Now, Andy, he was here in May.
Yes.
And DJ is a remarkable guy. He actually did some filming with us in June. And I gotta say that the things that he's been through, you can't lie about. DJ wasn't there for filming. He was there to cook the guys' meals. That was it.
He was.
And
he was on the other week, and he's telling us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was actually there, meaning that things happened to him by accident. And say when it goes back to the beginning bit of kind of Alaskan Killer Bigfoot, things like that. Thanks. He really struggled on it, and say me and Gramps used to watch it all the time, and everything in Portlock is true. That story happened. That story is a true story, whether that's Bigfoot or not. But that's what makes that interesting, meaning that yes, the aggressive cases could be Bigfoot, which is why so that's the only aggressive Bigfoot that I've gone into.
Yeah.
So
no, cheers for that. Thank you.
Amazing.
Right. Grandier again. The next two questions are Grandier. So, Daniel, do you have a Bigfoot call that you use? Coast to Coast AM used to have one in the late 1990s. Now, when RPG came on, I asked him to do his Bigfoot call, but I knew it lasts for about 10 minutes.
I saw that. I was watching the entire podcast. I saw that, but I gotta say, I laughed the first time he did that, because that was he did that whilst we were scouting for locations, and I'm like, oh god, I'm like, how he does that, it's beyond me. But I'm actually I'm friends with everyone in the Bigfoot world, but a good friend is Ron Moorhead, that captured the Sierra Sounds, and I also work with Brian King Sharp on that a bit. Is that Brian actually has the full files now of the Sierra Sounds on his podcast. But I know that I've been talking to him about that and all the language that he thinks is in there, and what could be Bigfoot language. So I haven't used a call out in the field, apart from someone named Ryan RPG Gonbeski that's just a weirdo. But I know that I love you playing along with that. It's that the Sierra Sounds I'm possibly looking into to possibly actually using out in the field.
Cool. Yeah, get amplified and See what happens. Now we was at Rendlesham. We did a night investigation there a few weeks ago.
That's cool. That's cool.
And I did an attempt of a sound. It was less Bigfoot, more rotting zombie.
Please tell me you captured that on video. Please tell me you captured that on video, because I would laugh.
I think someone filmed it. So Og, who's in the chat, because she lives out that way, she was taking a tablet. She nearly choked to death. And I thought, do you know what? No one else is doing it. I might as well do it. And it wasn't very Bigfoot. It was more laughable. So I won't be doing that sound in public ever again. It was awful.
That's funny, Andy. That's funny, mate.
I thought, do you know what? Everyone else might as well try. What's the worst that can happen?
Oh God.
So I'm not allowed to do it now. Right. Next question. Daniel, do you have a Bigfoot? Inquiring minds want to know. So quite a few people have put in the chat. Have you got a Bigfoot? Have you got a Bigfoot cast? Have you literally got a Bigfoot?
Okay.
I don't know.
So the cast that I made of that print remains in the office I have I claim I have two offices. I actually have taken over my my grandmother's spare bedroom now as my second office, and she is not best pleased about that. But I have that cast of that print there that we actually have on photos, and that unfortunately, because we showed it at an event, is snapped in between, unfortunately. You have no idea how
I actually feel sick. I actually physically feel sick now you've told me that.
Yeah, that's like, but we have everything on photos and that, and obviously we have the DNA evidence to back that up. So that's amazing. Yeah.
Cool, thank you. Next question is from Zeno, and he wants to know, Daniel, have you any instances of alternate cryptids, or other phenomena in the areas? Cheers.
Okay. I'll tell you a very, very quick story that I haven't known, but my father has. I may have told the story before. But it was actually the first time we were filming back in April 2024. Dad went to Heathrow to pick up Ronnie LeBlanc. They were in the car, and Dad was racing to get Ronnie to Stonehenge before it completely went dark. They got Stonehenge, first time Ronnie's been in the UK, and Ronnie was taking pictures, things like that. They got back in the car, and Dad has a dash cam there. And Ronnie went, well, there's only one thing that would make this moment perfect, and that's a UFO appearing. Dad's never been so frightened in his life. Because then what happens is about 5 seconds later, in the corner, is a tear-dropped ball of fire. And it's on camera. It's on camera that appears in the corner of Stonehenge. Ronnie goes, what the F is that? And Dad and you see it, and Dad turns the wheel and has to get back on the right lane. They go behind a house and come out the other end, and it's gone. The sun is there, so you can see it, and this drop of ball of fire, so you can see both of them. And you're like, what is that? And it goes within seconds.
So did it blink? Sorry, did it blink out, or did it just fade, or how did it?
It apparently just went, literally just went within like that.
So when they said about we just need to see UFO, how long between saying that, and then seeing it? Seconds?
5 seconds.
Minute? 5
seconds.
So straight away.
Yeah, and Dad to this day has not travelled in a car with Mr. Ronnie LeBlanc
because of that.
Yes. Yeah. Wow. And that is now a common joke in this group that Dad and Ronnie do not get in a car together ever again.
I was going to say, because
It's fine.
it'd be abduction next, wouldn't it? Or something mad like that. You want to get that on film.
Oh God. Oh, bloody hell.
Yeah, that's your
but
next
I must say,
documentary. Craig and Ronnie get abducted.
well, I must say, Andy, it's been a pleasure to come back on, and I wanted to come back on and let you know about it all, and say everyone can go and find it at the Pitch House website, and say I hope everyone enjoys the doc, and say this is all about my journey through autism, and also it is about Fund Bigfoot as well, as you can see. And yeah, but thank you so much, Andy, for having me back on.
No, you are more than welcome. Like I said, if I can squeeze somebody in that's doing so much stuff like this, then I'll make space for him. Nicole wants to apologise. It's really bad signal where they was, and they got to the location earlier, but she sends her love and says thank you for coming on, and sorry that she can't be here. Everyone in the chat, so thank you, Daniel, for your time. I know you're busy scheduled to come in here. Love to Nan. Bigfoot, Michigan, Rob. Hi, Rob. Hello, everybody. Lurking, listen on my radio in the yard. Have a great day, all. There's loads. So just
you have some amazing people here, mate. Yeah.
Yeah. They all are guests and people in the chat. And this is going to go out on podcasts, so Apple, Spotify. It's going to go out on Audible. So yeah, you can listen to it back on all of them. So thank you so much. And like I said to you before, keep up the great work. Don't ever stop doing what you love doing, regardless of what anybody says. Just keep at it. That's all you got to do.
Amazing.
So
amazing, mate. Well, thanks so much.
Yes. Yep. No, thank you. Keep us updated with everything else that's going on, please, if you don't mind. I do want to talk to you about something else, but I'll talk to you about that off air. I'll send you a message over the weekend. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
As in, I'm happy to stay for a minute off air if you wanted.
All right. Yeah. Cool. Yes. No, that'd be amazing. Right. So I'm going to stop this now. So thank you everyone for coming in the chat. Thank you to Rob and somebody else who donated. Really do appreciate it. Thank you to the new subscribers, new tier members. We're going to be pre-recording our Halloween special tomorrow night that will be premiered on the 31st Friday. It's the first paranormal pizza, so we're trying it out for the Halloween special. So pre-recording that. I am on a podcast next Monday with Jacqueline Dixon. I will post stuff on Facebook and on here. I'm not sure what the channel name is. She has told me, but without looking it up, I do not know. And then next Wednesday, we've got Abby Dent coming on, who you know very well. This month and next month is pretty much everyone from Bridgewater that's coming on. And then November, December, it's everyone from Gettysburg that I met. So it's all slotted in together. Cool. Yeah, so it's all good. So yes, thank you again. Thank you to Og for doing the moderating. Did any other moderators? I know everyone's busy, but no, it's great to see new faces in the chat as well. So gonna go because I know you've got to go and do need to talk to you about this very, very quickly.
Yeah, that's fine, mate.
That's it. So I'm going to boot us off the screen. I'm going to play a couple of voiceovers and I'm going to do the outro as usual. So thanks again. Have a great weekend, everybody. And we'll see you all very, very soon. So take care and bye-bye.
This episode will also be available as audio wherever you listen to your podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, etc., as well as being available on Audible. If you would like to help to support the channel, you can do this by joining the YouTube membership or Patreon, which both have a number of different tiers, or you can donate via PayPal. Links are in the channel description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
Goodbye.